Let's talk getting your audience accustomed to spending more money with you. All in all, ultimately training your audience to be okay with talking about products, offers, coaching, consulting, etc. Like the list is long. Now, this is probably a tactic that took me a really long time to grasp and something that I still see a lot of online entrepreneurs, content creators struggling with very consistently is actually getting their audience okay with talking about finances or products, or getting a lot of resistance when it comes to making offers to people. Now, mind you, some of the tactics that I will be diving into this actual training today, it will start to throttle engagement. It will start pissing people off, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if somebody's mad that you're making an offer to them, realistically, they probably were never going to buy from you anyways. Now, this will primarily be for people who are affiliates selling products and services and, selling like digital or physical products. These are like tactics that you can use inside of your content creation that will actually start to, over time, really shrink your sales processes and start getting less and less resistance when it comes to, selling your offers. Now, mind you, this isn't going to be an overnight tweak. This isn't something that's going to magically change overnight, but it really starts to compound, and the real power of it is in the longer that you're doing it and the more of this type of stuff that you're including in your content. So let's dive in. Getting your audience accustomed to spending money. Now, these are tricky ones, because just because someone isn't inclined to buy right now doesn't mean they won't potentially buy in the future. But there are those people who will suck you of every lead magnet ounce of energy you'll give them without the intention of ever buying anything. Take an arm and a leg if they ask for a hand in this online space. And you can't necessarily eliminate these types of leads or like people coming into your world altogether, but what I'm breaking down in this training today will actually help you start to diminish the number of people that you actually get coming to your inbox, expecting free things, expecting you to help them build their entire business completely free of charge. And if I look at my own business, this is something that I really struggled with in the earlier stages. It was always people coming to me like, hey, help me do this for free. I'll pay you after you do this, after I get all these results, etc. Whereas now people come to me, flock to my inbox, not already understanding that I have products and services and how much they usually cost. So things that will always play a part. These are some kind of notes to be aware of as you start utilizing this in your content. The customer journey, the lead temp, someone who's never seen you before a 60-second TikTok video or a short form video piece of content, they came into your group, isn't going to be inclined to jump into something right now. And this is a big part of it. People are trying to convert extremely cold people very quickly. If somebody came into my group yesterday, they're probably not going to buy a $500 a month coaching offer from me, because they don't know who the hell I am. They don't know enough about me. They haven't consumed enough content from me to even feel comfortable with even talking about a potential offer. And secondly, the level of awareness of people that are coming into your world. Do they understand what you do, that you have something to sell, that you are helping people do XYZ in their business or their life? You can't potentially try to sell offers to people that aren't even problem or solution aware. If I'm going to sell a coaching offer about building an online business intimately with me over the next 6 months, like obviously the person needs to already understand the power of building an online business. They have to understand that's even an option, availability to actually start monetizing social media. Someone that doesn't even believe or understand that's a thing, they're not going to be ready to buy. It's like saying you want to help somebody get on the keto diet, but they don't even know what keto is. Now, this is something that I started playing around with a few years ago, and it's worked really well at getting your audience accustomed to talking about products, talking about actual offers. So we run groups. The main centerpiece of all of our business is actually community. So that's the first step that everybody takes with us, is come into our groups. But one thing that I really started doing and doubling down on, probably 2 years ago at this point, is I started putting an offer in my actual welcome posts of my group. Now, this isn't from the intention of I expect people to come into my group and buy my product. Like, I want people to see that I have an offer. I want people to see that I have something to sell, that I have this thing that will help them do XYZ. But then what naturally happens is, over time, if I put this offer in their hands relatively soon in our journey, which sounds contradictory to what I was just saying, but if I put the offer in their hands fairly soon, they're going to start making justifications internally as to how they can actually make that investment work if it's something they actually want to do. So I have an offer, a PDF inside of my welcome post of my group that talks about one of our signature programs, talks about one of our main offers. And People come in and they see this and they understand that, okay, Nate has something to sell. He's selling this product. So naturally, they're going to start looking at ways that they can make it work, or it's going to completely piss them off and they're going to leave my group. And I'm completely fine with that, because the reality, if they're going to come in and get mad that I'm selling products and services as a business owner, then we're probably never going to buy anyways. Right? Now, this is a very important one. What you say and how you say it matters a lot. This is probably a big reason why we have fairly small audiences, but have done extremely well in this online space compared to people that have way bigger audiences than us. We have a 7-figure business and I don't even have 40,000 followers like on my Facebook. That's absolutely insane. If you look at people that have millions of followers who are struggling to sell very inexpensive products, we are converting very expensive $500 to $1,000 a month coaching clients without a massive audience, without a regularly going viral or needing more in all this amount of volume in our actual business. And if you're ever curious about the model that we operate, feel free to hit the pinned video on my channel as I break down the entire structure of how we actually operate and run our current business. But examples of phrases, either in content or a conversation in the diagnostic phase, this is for those who are ready to invest / in a position to invest. I only work with those who are serious about getting started. X price today to get started. Don't be afraid to talk about this shit in your content, in your messaging. Those who are in a position to invest. A very popular thing in the internet marketing space is people will use phrases in their content like, hey, if you're the best side hustle for lazy and broke people, and then they're wondering why people aren't buying their offers. Like, you're literally calling out people that are lazy and broke, and then expecting them to fork out their wallet. They don't have extra money in their wallet. That's that you're training them and you're calling out that specific type of audience. And then you're wondering why they're not buying your offers. So another example, this isn't for insert who wouldn't be a good candidate to work with, who isn't a good candidate for your offers. This isn't for somebody who's looking to be babysat or hold your hand every step of the way as you build your online business. Polarization with your strategy. And this is something we do a lot. We've helped a lot of clients. We've helped people have a lot of success relatively quickly, but you will regularly find us mentioning, hey, don't expect to replace your job's income for the next 6 to 12 months if you're brand new. And we do this intentionally because we don't want people coming in and expecting to push some red button and make a bunch of money, and then they're going to be pissed off when they don't. And realistically, they're going to end up quitting because they don't give themselves enough time to actually start building momentum in their business. So something to think about is this will drastically start throttling any type of engagement that you get. It's not meant to resonate with more and more people. It's meant to actually cater your content to a very specific type of person that is closer to the point of being ready to buy or understands the power of actually investing in themselves with you. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, like starting to inject this different type of copy or tweaks in your business isn't going to change overnight. It's the real power in it is if you made it a point to start casually injecting different price points, different products, different offers, different statements about who your offers are for or who they aren't for over the next 60, 90, 180 days, you're going to start to really see a big difference in how easy or how difficult your actual sales processes become. Pre-framing and using it to your advantage is your inbox is dry as a desert versus do you only have bandwidth to converse with higher quality leads or people that need a bit of tapping to get into the sale. Leaving more room for interpretation in the content or in your conversation process in general if you're looking to purely generate more conversations. This is a bit of an advanced thing that a lot of people don't think about. Is we have the ability as content creators to optimize and change our content based on our immediate goal. So if we want very simple sales processes, then we're going to be more targeted. We're going to be extremely hyper targeted in the content. This offer is $1,000. This offer is $1,500. Like naturally, you're going to shrink the amount of people that raise their hand on that versus if we're vaguer, if we leave room for interpretation in the actual piece of content. Hey, I'm looking for 5 people that want me to help them build their business. This is a good time, real-time example of that is I could optimize to sell the exact same offer, but I'm leaving out a price point, which means I'm going to get more lead flow, but I am going to have to pick up that weight in the actual conversation. And a lot of the times those people are going to be further back on the spectrum of being ready to buy because you're leaving pieces out, if that makes sense. Look at it from the consumer's perspective. Do they know why you're actually chatting with them and not in like a sleazy way? You're just trying to pitch them. Do they understand that you're even talking to them about having an offer, right? Are they aware that you have an offer? And if you're seeing if that's what you're here to figure out, does somebody even understand that you're talking to them about a potential offer? Or you're running them through the sales process. Do they know that you're booking a call because you're looking to present an offer to them or it's masked as a strategy session? This will come back to how or where the convo came from, which will play a big part and a huge reason whether you do or you don't shorten the sales process. If I am utilizing a very short lead gen style post that's like, hey, I want to help 5 people build their 6-figure business, they don't know, there's not enough context in that piece of content for me to expect those people engaging on that piece of content to actually be ready to buy right now. I'm gonna have to pick that weight up somewhere. What you guys can use this how you want. You can take a higher volume approach for lead flow, or you can take a lower volume approach. And there's no right or wrong answer. Realistically, if you're building a business, you're gonna use both of them throughout your journey online. Solve more problems, what people are actually looking for. Do you actually have what they need? And what are your options for giving them that? Free and paid. A lot of people watching this video, or if you're like thinking about potentially getting your audience accustomed to spending money, you realistically already have scope to do a bunch of different things. You can direct people back into nurtured content. You can direct people back into free training. You can direct them back into your leveraged assets. This is exactly what we do in our own business. We run free groups, and that's our main medium for building attention and awareness around our business. And we continuously refeed people into the guide section of our group where they can start getting value from us. They can start having wins. They can start taking the tactics we're breaking down and deploying them into their business, because over time, what this does is it starts to, move them further and further along the point of actually wanting to buy something. If you look at it from a different perspective, like if somebody can come into your group or like any of your assets, it doesn't have to be a group. Obviously, this video is on YouTube specifically, but if somebody can get a quick win or a strategy from you, and they actually get a result in their business for free, the chances of them actually like being comfortable with pulling out their wallet and making a purchasing decision from you goes through the roof. And this is a very real thing as far as converting people online. Someone just coming into your group and doesn't have an idea of affiliate marketing, what affiliate marketing is, very rare that we're going to move into an offer right away. Like that will be a big thing as far as like how difficult your sales will be, is if you're actually trying to sell products to the wrong people. I've seen people completely burn down their business because they were getting a lot of resistance around price, but they were just trying to sell the products to the wrong people. People that don't understand the power of business aren't going to buy a $5,000 coaching offer. Somebody who doesn't have a business isn't probably going to want that. Are they looking to accomplish something else beyond what you're doing, what you teach? Can you connect them with someone who can help? This is a big thing, is a lot of people will try to force their audience into buying offers because it's their way of doing things. And you're tainting a potential relationship from the start. If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I run calls and I love doing sales calls, I'm not going to take shots at their business and be like, hey, we don't do calls. You should totally stop doing calls. Like I'm going to find somebody maybe in my network or somebody that I have connected with through my years online and see if they could potentially help them instead of me. They're going to be grateful for that. And then eventually, maybe if they want to learn more about my model and the way that we operate, they'll come back, or they won't. It's completely fine. Doesn't mean they won't eventually come back around. I've had countless people tell me that they want to dive into ads, because I used to run a social media marketing agency where I ran Facebook ads for local businesses. I let them know more about what I did and where I learned that and where I learned those strategies from. And eventually they came back around and bought something else from me, because I maintained that actual relationship or looked at what I could actually do to help them, versus just like saying, hey, screw that ads, don't do that. It's not going to work for you. Come buy my thing, which is not the standard in the internet space. You have a lot of people who are very predatory in their sales processes, and they will just pitch, oh, you're not serious if you don't want to buy my $5,000 offer. Like that's a real thing. Secondly, like next up is like protecting your energy. Know that you don't owe anyone a response. And if you give most of them a hand, they'll try to take an arm and a leg, as I said in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a dick out there and be rude to people, but over time, you'll be able to pick up who's pulling on your chain, and the people that are just like love to hoard info. People love to do that in this online game. They like collect all these resources that they never do anything with and wonder why their business isn't moving forward, but they don't actually ever do anything. One way that you can look at this is look at ways that you can capture your own time and energy into free assets. YouTube videos, for example, live trainings in your community. So you'll regularly have things to refer people to. This is a really cool one to think about, because it's a win scenario. If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I don't understand what you do, I can send them a video and they can learn more about my model, and then I could talk to them after they've watched it. So if they're just looking to collect all of these resources but never do anything with them, I'm still giving them what they want, but I'm also creating leverage in my business. I'm not having to walk them through that entire process over and over again, which is a real thing. People will burn out if you don't look at encapsulating some of your energy. Now, how I personally like to handle the freebie seekers: aggressively send them an offer super early, which will usually get them to leave me alone. That's the reality of it. Push them back to a training, a group, a resource, or I won't respond. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about someone who just comes into your world and has no idea what online business is. I'm talking about those people that have been commenting on every single post, commenting on the latest and greatest lead magnet. You've attempted to walk them through the diagnostic process, but they want you to go through the whole song and dance again. You guys probably have people in your audience that you could see this. I don't know what it is about the information space online, but there's people that have been commenting on every lead magnet I've put out for 4 years. I don't know if they've ever taken step one in any of them, but they continuously comment. They like to hoard info. Goal, when possible, still lead with value, but don't attach your actual one-to-one time or inside the DMs. And why we hammer out about building stuff in our communities, because some might eventually buy, but you don't have to do some 17-week messenger process to see if they will. It's leverage, so whether they do or they don't, it doesn't make a difference. So these are some overarching things all about getting your audience accustomed to spending money. 1, start talking about price inside of your content. Start talking about price very regularly. Draw lines in the sand. Talk about who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with. Another tactic you can also leverage is like trumping prices. So one thing that we'll regularly do often is, say I want to sell a $1,500 product, but I have another $5,000 offer. I will start talking about my $5,000 offer more, because when they hear that, oh, I thought this product was going to be $5,000 and now it's actually now I can get this thing for only $1,500. It feels like they're getting a massive discount. You can also play around with different types of guarantees. You have to be extremely careful with these. The FTC hates guarantees, especially in the make money online space. And if you're not delivering on them, of course. One thing that we used a lot was, I'll work with you until you make your investment back. And obviously that's you have to put rules on it. Like, you're not going to work with somebody for the next 18 years that hasn't ever done the first thing in your program. So 1, you can trump the prices, talk about your more expensive thing, because naturally what will happen is you'll actually start selling your less expensive offers, because your audience is going to start thinking that you have this big thing, big ticket product over here. And then when they find out you have a supplementary offer that's cheaper, naturally they're going to be accustomed to spending that money. Secondly, not sure, lost my train of thought. Draw lines in the sand. Create barriers in your business. Let people know that you work with people that pay you. Talk about customers, talk about clients, talk about, hey, this is the results from a paid student of mine. These are the type of results that are coming out of my $1,000 offer. These are the type of results that are coming out of my $500 offer. The more that you guys can start baking that into your content, the easier and easier your sales actually start to become, because people will start to get acclimated that you actually have products to sell. This is a very prevalent one that I've seen a lot, especially in the make money online space on TikTok. Everybody knows the $7 challenge, where people are selling this very low ticket value ladder style offer and then ascending to a $2,500 product on day 5 or whatever. And the biggest thing that a lot of people run into is that people feel duped. People end up feeling duped because they're like, hey, you have this very inexpensive thing that's going to help you do all this cool shit in business, just to find out that there was this $2,500 offer. And it puts a really bad taste in people's mouths. So a good thing to think about is like talking about that more expensive thing on the front, as I just broke down, right? If you have this $2,500 product and you're talking about this $2,500 product, and then they find out they can get in for $10, it's a fucking steal. And then it's changing the entire nuance of the relationship or the experience for the customer, because they already understood going into it that there was a bigger investment involved. Now, these are just some things to think about when it comes to getting your audience accustomed to spending more money, and all things that we've included and baked into our own content over the last few years. And we have extremely high conversion rates, and we've done very well online with relatively small audiences. So give them a try. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next one.